comment and go away.
Family members of 28-year-old Sadie Holliday understood why we were knocking and had no comment on the allegations of fraud and misrepresentation. Holliday was booked on charges of practicing without a license and fraudulent schemes. New court records say last week an undercover officer went to Holliday's business, Slim Slays LLC. The officer paid Holliday for 50 milliliters of Botox. Detectives say the officer saw Holliday prepare the needle for injection and she was arrested. Investigators say Holliday offered cosmetic injectables, including Botox and dermal fillers, but did not have a proper license from the Arizona State Board of Nursing to perform the procedures. I spoke to an official from the Arizona Medical Board over the phone, and they told me they have received complaints about Holliday. She's even listed on the board's website as an imposter. The board issued this cease and desist letter the day before she was arrested. I asked if they could tell me where Holliday got her certification, but I was told that that was not in their jurisdiction. Holliday has reportedly been posting about her business and injecting clients since 2024. Court documents state that she advertised the services on social media and her website, but all of her pages have been removed. And detectives with the Attorney General's office made the arrest, and I sent them a list of questions, including how many victims are we talking about here, and how long was Holliday on their radar? As soon as I get those answers, I'll keep you posted. As far as for Holliday, it's not clear when she's due back in court. Reporting for Arizona's Family, I'm Stephanie Dupre.